Hi, my name is Monica Rahib, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of For Couples Only. Our guest speaker today is His Grace Bishop Thomas from El Koseya, Egypt, where he is father to many marital couples. Your Grace, we are a group of youth meeting here in a convention, and we are hoping that we can learn from you a very important issue. We hear different things from church, parents, and friends about the top characteristics in picking a significant other. Your Grace, how do you advise us about choosing?
I think one of the most important thing that we see the belonging of the person, how this person relate to God. As simple as that. That what is the first priority in your life? What is the first priority in his life? Most people would not see this character as very important, because most of the people are mainly searching for social status, economical status, educational status, psychological interactions, feeling interactions, and all these are very important. But at the same time, let's go back to the beginning of the creation. When God created a human being, he just created Adam first. And that's a very significant thing, that Adam by himself, the first belonging, the first interaction, the first knowledge in his life was God himself. Eve was not there to communicate with her. So the foundation in his own personality was laid first in relationship with God himself. But then God didn't want to bring them both together just like that. He just put Adam aside, and now this is not your work. He's aside. And then he took Eve by herself. So the first person that Eve has a communication with, the first belonging for her, the first interaction with her, it was God himself. It was not Adam. So that means that she also has to have a foundation of belonging to God by herself, not in relationship to Adam. And then God brought them both together. So that means, that tells us a very important issue here, that the first thing that I need to understand, where this person belong. What are this person priorities in life? And if the person is really profound in his belonging or her belonging to God himself, that would be a very important issue in a relationship. The second issue that we need to see as well, that this person, he has a sound psychological foundation, like the concept of love. What that means for this person is love is receiving and taking and giving, or what is the concept of the unconditional love? Because this is a very important issue in marriage. Because if this person would have a sound foundation of love, that means that there is a big room for the unconditional love. Because that means that the relationship was not counted by I give you or I take from you. And of course this would be seen in many different ways. In normal life, this is a person that has an openness in his or her heart for the other people. Or the foundation of value. What kind of value? That this person value himself or herself. And that means what kind of value that he would value the other person. For example, if the value for the person would be money, for example, the first thing that he or she would look and his choice is money. That means that the value of this person lays or circles around the money. That means if he or she would find someone else with higher value, means richer, that this person will be much more attractive to this person because the value is put. Or if someone would have the value is beauty, and that means if he will find another person that is much more beautiful according to his or her standard of beauty or the beauty code that he or she would put, that means there is another person who is much more valuable. And that means that the foundation that the relationship will be laid on simply is very weak. And that means that if one of these values, whether it's a money or beauty or education or social standard or health or all these characters will be taken away, that the marriage will be broken simply because it's not profound in a good foundation. So meaning that the foundation, the psychological foundation of the inner person has to be valued. And of course, the choices here is very clear, because if someone is looking for the social standards or the economical standards or the educational standard, although it is important to see it, but where is the value? If the value is Christ, then it's a good foundation. If the value is a human being, that's a good foundation. Or if the value is an inner person relationship with this person, it will be a good foundation. That means that when we are choosing, do not be taken by the outer features of the person, but go deeper in the inner person of that person. The third issue, I think, for a choice, that to see the belief system of this person, and it is shown. What's his point of view on forgiveness? What the point of view of sharing, obedience, giving, point of view on prayers, and this is all. It's a belief system that was laid. It's a moral belief system, and also it is an inner self-image of the person. And that would lay a very good image of the future relationship with this person. Because if this person would have a very low esteem about himself, that means there is always jealousy in the house. If this person never been experiencing love, then this person would never be satisfied. It's always hungry for love, and that means that always be a kind of never being satisfied. So it shows in the future. So that means that we need also to think of this. Besides that, I need to see the whole family, because it tells me about how this person is raised up. I need to see the friends, because it tells me how this person is choosing his or her friends. What is the library of this person? What is the kind of books that he's reading or she's reading? Of course, all this, it tells me about the personality of this person.
Regarding the educational rank, can it break a marriage? Like, for example, if he's a teacher and she's a doctor, or he received a PhD and she only received a 2-year degree, will it have a severe effect on the relationship?
I think that depends on the point of view of one another, because this would come at the end of the priorities. But if it is a first priority for a person, of course it would be important. If the priority of the person is the belonging to God, if the priority is the sound psychological inner person, if the priority is the value of the person, this kind of things will come last. But if this educational status would be a priority for the person, it differs from one person to another. And that means that for every person, it's a different case. Because maybe someone who is higher education but have very less belonging to God. And what that makes, if a person is lower education but has a very sound psychological inner person, and how that will be valued, the person would be actually looked at from a holistic point of view. We can't take one thing and just weigh it. Although it would be much easier in relationships to have a kind of equality or balance, different status, like a balanced social and economical status, balanced educational levels, because it will make it much easier in the concept of equality. Because every relationship, if it's not balanced, it will not last.
Your Grace, what is your advice towards a person from Egypt marrying somebody who's been born and raised in the United States?
I think they would need to work a little bit harder because of the different background and cultural issues. But even though integration in the new society that this person is coming to would be very highly important, and at the same time it differs from a man and a woman, and it differs as well in the characters of the person and what kind of a person is he. Is she or he is fast adapter to the new society, or a slow adapter to the new society? So it's a lot of uh, different factors that are involved, and also the level of education. So maybe someone who is from Egypt with high education, and somebody is of low education, what kind of social standard, what kind of an openness, what kind of exposure that this person had before. So it's we cannot just say like it's a sharp cut, but it's involved a lot of different factors. So I think a person would need to be discussed on a personal level, not in a general attitude.
Your Grace, I would like to thank you for your time today. My dear friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode of For Couples Only. If you have any questions, please email the address below. Until next time, have a great, peaceful life.